In the early 1600s, John Medley moved from England because of religious persecution. He sailed to America on the ship the Ark and settled in Maryland. John Medley and Elizabeth Thompson had 5 children. The Medleys started distilling liquor. It was just another part of their everyday tasks. Eventually, the Medleys became known for their alcohol. In 1789, John Medley settled his father's estate and moved to Kentucky. John brought with him 2 stills and other equipment to make bourbon whiskey in Kentucky. Establishing a name for him and his family, the Medleys opened a distillery producing bourbon. John Medley is considered the originator of the Medley Distilling Company. The Davis County Distilling Company, owned by the Medleys, was organized and began operating in the spring of 1874. From a very small beginning, the Davis County Distilling Company had, by the time it closed in May of 1917, produced in excess of 100,000 barrels. Most of this production came from 1906 to the enforced closing in 1917. The Davis County Distilling Company had to close in the spring of 1917 due to the enforcement of the 18th Amendment. The closing of the Medley's distilleries reflects the time era of Prohibition. During Prohibition, alcohol was banned and could not be sold to any American citizen. In 1927, the Medleys had to sell the Davis County distillery inventory and plant, but they kept the name alive. Even in a time of doubt, the Medleys persevered. When the stock market crashed on Black Friday in 1928, Americans fell on hard times, and a plethora of Americans were without jobs and lost everything. With the repeal of Prohibition in 1933, the Medleys were ready to get back into the bourbon business, even though it was during the Great Depression. The Medleys were now able to re-employ about 100 Owensboro citizens and help support them through tough times.
Of course, during Prohibition, the distilleries were, of course, unable to make whiskey, and it cost the state of Kentucky, it cost Owensboro, a huge amount of money because there were no taxes being generated. And that was, like I said, because of Prohibition.
By October 2nd, 1937, the newly renovated distillery had made 200,000 barrels of bourbon. Of the 4 different distillery locations owned by the Medleys in Kentucky, all were in Davis County except one. All 3 of these Davis County distilleries were located in the same bend in the Ohio River adjacent to each other. The Medleys later acquired the Old Stanley Distilling Company in Stanley, Kentucky. Even to this day, Charles Medley runs the Old Stanley Distillery as an 8th-generation distiller. Charles Medley still distills and distributes Wathen's bourbon all around the world. The company is growing and getting back to its roots after having been closed down for a couple of years.